GTA 6 is packed with locations worth actually exploring, not just driving through. In this video, we're breaking down every location confirmed in GTA 6 so far. We're covering Leonida Keys, Port Gellhorn, Ambrosia, Grass Rivers, Mount Calgar, and of course Vice City itself, the crown jewel of the whole map. Let's start with the Leonida Keys. Gateway to paradise, the dress code is casual, the bars are loaded. Life out on this tropical archipelago isn't flashy, it's just easy. Grab a drink, pull up a deck chair, and soak it in. Just know you're sitting right on the edge of some of the most beautiful and genuinely dangerous water in the country. So yeah, that postcard description nails it. Leonida Keys is basically paradise. But the part that really stands out is that line about the most beautiful and dangerous waters in all of America. But what about dangerous? Here is my take. GTA 6 is giving us a spear gun, and I would bet good money it gets used in at least one underwater mission down here in the Keys. And I genuinely think we are going to be hunting sharks out in those waters. That is what makes those waters genuinely dangerous. But honestly, what's even more interesting is everything living under the surface. The underwater world will probably be pretty varied, with treasures and secrets to dig up, just like in GTA 5. This time though, expect it to actually be worth exploring. One thing I have to bring up. I'm a huge Dexter fan. If you watch the show, you already know where this is going. GTA 6, with its Florida and Miami-inspired setting, is basically the perfect place to drop Dexter Easter eggs, specifically something like black trash bags full of body parts sitting on the ocean floor. Finding something like that underwater would hit different in GTA 6, a direct Dexter reference hiding on the ocean floor where most players would never think to look. Now let's look at the postcard from the official GTA 6 website. What does it actually show us? You've got all kinds of boats packed in here, small ones, bigger ones, yachts, jet skis, and there's even a plane sitting in the mix. This is Key Lanto, based on real-life Key Largo. It's a solid-sized area, bigger than it first looks. There are houses, apartment buildings pushing 5 stories, and plenty of spots that look worth exploring. There are also small islands scattered on both sides, left and right. I'd put good money on some of those islands hiding loot or maybe even buried treasure, so they are absolutely worth checking. You can also spot a few bridges in the area, and we will get into those a little later. But honestly, this place looks incredible, and I think just this one location has enough to keep you busy for hours. Now let's dig into the trailers, because Leonida Keys actually shows up in both of them and gets a lot of screen time in the second one. We will start with trailer 1. It only pops up once in that first trailer, right here in this shot. The plane is what ties it together, same angle, same feel. The watercolor, the trees, the scattered little islands, everything pops. You can even spot a campfire lit on one of those islands, which is a nice touch. Zooming out a bit, there are some seriously big yachts anchored here too. These things are massive compared to what we've seen before. And those buildings in the background, I'd bet most of them are actually enterable. There's a bridge heading toward Vice City and another one that's partially destroyed, which is actually based on a real structure. Jet skis, multiple car types, the Keys are packed with stuff moving on the water and on land. Then there's the blimp, and it's worth talking about. In real life, it's called Fat Albert, and it's used to monitor drug smuggling, human trafficking, and illegal activity in the air and on the water, basically a surveillance platform for spotting planes and boats. Every single one of these islands is fully visitable and explorable. Just picture those GTA 6 night drives, music bleeding out of the car radio, cruising through the Keys into Vice City and across the whole map. That's going to be something else entirely. Now let's move to trailer 2, because the Leonida Keys show up constantly, right from the opening shot. And this shot alone is genuinely stunning to look at. It's a massive step up from trailer 1 visually. The graphics are so clean that people called it CGI, but no, that's actual in-game footage. This is the other side of the location we just covered. And you can spot Fat Albert up there, the blimp I mentioned earlier, floating over the whole scene. There are boats, jet skis, flamingos, birds, sea life, people sitting out on the docks, and some really solid-looking buildings packed into the frame. The place looks genuinely massive from this angle. Then there's what looks like an ice cream truck or maybe a building selling ice cream, and I think this might be a nod back to the original Vice City. Because in the original Vice City, you could actually own an ice cream truck. So this might be a deliberate nod to that. Then we get Brian's boatworks in Marina, which is going to matter a lot story-wise, plus the hangar where some serious stuff goes down. Next shot is Jason up on the roof patching leaks. This is clearly going to be our safe house, and we are going to spend a real chunk of time here, especially early on. I don't know exactly how the game opens, but I'm pretty confident the first few hours of the main story are rooted right here, in this location, in this safe house. We know Jason picks Lucia up from jail and they head straight back to this house, and that is not a mid-game or late-game moment, that is the very beginning. So this place is essentially home base for the opening stretch of the game. There's also an iguana chilling in a golden crown and a red Hawaiian shirt, which is exactly the kind of detail Rockstar loves hiding in plain sight. 2 cars in the yard, the one on the left looks like Jason is mid-repair, and the one on the right is his main ride, a Vapid. There's a basketball hoop out back, which pretty much confirms we'll be able to shoot hoops at some point in the game. The whole place has this relaxed, lived-in feel, quiet, comfortable, early-game safe house energy. Then Brian pulls up in a Caracara 4x4, this massive, mean-looking truck that honestly looks incredible in motion. This angle gives us a much cleaner look at that car on the left Jason was working on earlier. A raccoon crawls out of a trash bin nearby, and that reads like a random event trigger, the kind of small world detail Rockstar sprinkles everywhere. And yeah, that looks great too. Right here we can see the view from the safe house window, a driveway, rows of houses, a car rolling past, a stop sign. It looks genuinely cozy, like a place someone actually lives. By the way, Jason has a boat, and a lot of people have speculated it might actually be Michael's stolen boat because the design looks familiar. We'll probably find out when the game drops. Here Jason is stepping into the safe house and we get a glimpse of the interior, plus a bridge visible just outside. In the next shot, Jason is cruising past the neighborhood houses and one woman spots him, recognizes him, waves him down. And the way he reacts to it tells you something. This guy has a reputation here. He is known in this area. Then he gets to work on what Brian sent him out to do, which is collecting money from the tenants. That is probably exactly what this is, Jason roughing up a clerk inside a souvenir store and taking the cash. All of this goes down in the United Keys. The next shot cuts to a canal, still right here in the Keys. Jason's walking out of a store with an 8-pack of beer, still United Keys territory. Then we get this shot of Lucia and Jason on a bed, clearly just hanging out, and this is actually inside the safe house Brian sets up for them, the one I just showed you a minute ago. Now Jason and Lucia are having drinks at some kind of bar. We actually get a much better look at this place later, so hold tight. You can clearly tell this is the same bar where the two of them are kicking back. The place is pretty sizable, and that dock by the boats you can see them sitting at is right next to that same bar. Then we get another angle on it here. A big yacht with a full party going, tons of NPCs on deck, a few small boats and jet skis scattered around, all lit up by a sunset that honestly looks incredible. And here we are inside Brian's boat works and marina in his hangar, just like I mentioned when we broke down those first few shots from trailer 2. It is actually a decent size, and you can clearly see a boat from this angle, which makes sense given the whole marina setup. You can see the boat with Brian himself and Jason right there together. Then there is a shot of Lucia picking up trash. Not 100% sure on the exact location, but my money is on somewhere in the Leonida Keys. And look at the cap she is wearing, Brian's boat works in marina. That alone confirms it is her, though honestly you could already tell from the outfit. Then we get another shot that backs up what I have been saying. Jason and Lucia are inside that safe house. This time we get a better look, and you can make out a terrarium with a snake, a fridge, a room with a bed, and a toilet right by the door. Honestly, the place looks pretty cool for a hideout. Then we cut inside that bar where they were drinking earlier, and this time we get a solid look around. There's what looks like some kind of friend reunion. Jason, Lucia, Calhampton, and 2 other characters I have not fully pinned down yet. I made a separate video on those two, so go check that out if you want the deep dive. Either way, this bar is definitely a spot we will be coming back to a lot. Then in this shot we have Brian, his wife Lori, and Jason all talking together. Brian clearly says they have got everything on Jason. He does not say who exactly he means by that. Probably the feds. But it all goes down in a hangar that Brian owns, and it's set in the Leonida Keys. Then there's some kind of prep scene where Jason and Lucia are getting ready for a heist inside what looks like a house. It's a cool little glimpse into how they operate. And once again, we get another shot of Lucia coming back from her public work detail. Again, we're back at that safe house, and this time we get a better look at the terrarium with the snake plus a clearer view of the whole interior. There's some kind of storage area up top too. The place looks really cool, honestly one of the more interesting locations we've seen so far. And that wraps up everything we have set in the Leonida Keys. Back in Brian's hangar again, this time the focus is on Cal Hampton. There's a boat in the background, and if you look closely there are quite a few workers around, so Brian's operation is clearly doing well for itself. I really hope I haven't missed any more trailer 2 shots set in the Leonida Keys, but we actually have 2 more shorter clips to cover. They're short, but Rockstar released them separately alongside the screenshots on the official GTA 6 website, so they matter. One of those clips involves Brian. It all goes down in Cal Hampton's world again. We can see his wife Lori holding a gun, clearly gearing up for something. There's also another shot that places Cal Hampton on a boat with a plane flying overhead dropping something, and yeah, it's obviously drugs. Since Jason and Lucia are working under Brian, most of their early game activity is going to be right here in the Leonida Keys or the surrounding area. So forget Port Gellhorn or Vice City for now, this is Keys territory. I really wanted to say we're ready to move on. Ready to dig into the screenshots. But we've got 2 more artworks to cover first. The first one is Brian inside his boat workshop at the marina. You can see boats stacked along the walls and at least one that looks freshly worked on. What's really interesting is what Brian has sitting on his table. It's a map almost certainly of the Leonida Keys area, and it's got targets marked on it. So Brian is clearly planning something, and it looks like we're involved. You can spot some gray rubble in the shot, probably drugs, plus ammo and cans of Lavaz's beer. This shot is genuinely cool. It gives us a clearer picture of what's actually going down in this part of the map. And the last postcard is Cal Hampton. Once again, it takes place in none other than the Leonida Keys. There's a plane in the background, a boat, some kind of yacht, a bridge, and Cal himself kicking back with a Patriot beer on the deck. So again, Keys setting, and it's basically our first real look at what Cal Hampton is going to look like in-game. Alright, that's everything from the extra material. Now we get to the part people actually came for, the screenshots. This shot looks a lot like the one from trailer 1. But it's not the same spot. Look closer and you can tell it's a completely different area. Still, you've got jet skis, loads of boats, people camping with a visible campfire, an overturned boat, folks just having a picnic and kicking back. Dense vegetation everywhere, more boats scattered around, what looks like a military or police vessel, and a container carrier out in the water. So yeah, this is another stretch of the Keys, and this one is actually called Bahia Honda Key. We also get a fresh angle on Key Lanto here, which is a nice bonus. We've already had a solid look at that place, so nothing totally new. The left side gets cut off, but that building you can spot in frame, that's the Fat Albert blimp again. Trucks, cars, the whole lot, this place looks genuinely cool. In the background you've got Vice City, and there's this massive cell tower that you're absolutely going to want to climb and base jump off of. Just take a second and look at Vice City again. It's huge, there's what looks like a factory in there too, plus a ton of bridges connecting everything. So it's a solid, long drive from the Keys area into Vice City, and honestly it looks like a great drive. And keep in mind, this isn't even all of the Keys, there's more stretching off to the left that the camera never catches. Over here you've got what looks like a souvenir store, and the area is absolutely packed with tourists. I mean packed, tourist buses, an iguana, a dog, a guy on a bike, people stopping to take selfies, two dudes literally climbing a whale statue while someone photographs them, a boat rental ad, and a cheap body shop. Rockstar put in the work here. This souvenir store is probably called Wand Whale, judging by the sign. It looks genuinely interesting, and I'm curious how interactive these tourists actually are. Because I have a feeling we will be able to make their sightseeing experience a whole lot more entertaining, if you know what I mean. Right here we get a better look at the locals, and these are not tourists. These are the regulars at the Rusty Anchor Bar. Plenty going on, a guy absolutely wrecked on beer, two people making out, someone taking a piss against the wall, and what looks like some kind of crab festival happening nearby. And that woman is not a random NPC. We will come back to her later, but she is definitely somebody. And if you remember the iguana from early in the second trailer, the one near our safe house, this is the same woman in the red Hawaiian shirt. She clearly has a role in the story, even if we do not know what it is yet. Either way, that bar looks like exactly the kind of place I want to spend way too much time in. This screenshot gives us a much closer look at the underwater life hiding beneath the surface. Two divers, schools of fish, sea turtles, eels, the ocean floor is packed, and it genuinely looks like a place worth exploring. Like I said, underwater exploration is shaping up to be on a whole other level here, especially with a spear gun in hand. You will probably be able to hunt sharks, pull off some chaos beneath the waves, and stumble across buried treasure while you are down there. Over here, we get a look at some kind of party going on out on the water. It tells you everything about this area. People here live to party, and the whole place feels alive and interactive. Expensive boats everywhere, both small and large, with yachts scattered all across the frame. There are jet skis, houses in the background, and that bridge connecting the quay where Fat Albert is anchored over to Key Lanto, where our safe house sits. You can spot all kinds of people with different body types scattered across different boats, different engines, different vibes. Rockstar is selling variety hard here, and it shows. There's a guy fully chilling on a pink inflatable boat like he has not a care in the world. And there is literally a shark right underneath him. He has absolutely no idea. Meanwhile, the guy holding a beer has clearly spotted it, because that posture is not relaxed anymore. Sharks confirmed in the water near people. This is going to be a problem for a lot of players. And before you think that covers the keys, it does not. There are even more screenshots set in the Leonida Keys, and they keep delivering. Here is a screenshot of Brian giving us a proper look at him. And the guy in the background is not some random NPC. I actually made a full video on those mysterious characters, like I mentioned earlier. This guy clearly works for Brian. You can see he is right there with them, so no, not a random guy. This is actually the body Lucia is carrying in that shot. He and Jason were drinking beer together, sitting out on the dock. Something I noticed, Brian is a big fan of Lavazza beer. Because Cal is drinking Patriot beer while Brian is drinking Lavazza's. Different brands, different guys. They each have their own preference, and that detail actually matters. Rockstar didn't just slap random props on these characters. Then here's Brian telling one of his workers, probably the same guy from the previous screenshot, sitting in the plane to take some package somewhere. You can probably guess what's in it. In the background, you can clearly make out Brian's boat works at the marina. And this is basically where things start to come together. Brian looks a little irritated, or at minimum, he's laying down very specific instructions. He wants this done right. Also worth noting, Brian is apparently a massive fan of Hawaiian shirts. And honestly, in a place like South Florida that tracks, it is hot out there. Here again we can see Brian, Jason, and Brian's wife Lori. What really caught my eye is the Hawaiian shirt Brian is wearing in this exact screenshot. I think it's a direct Easter egg to Vice City's Ricardo Diaz, who rocked that same Hawaiian shirt look. Just like that, also worth noting, this happens in Leonida Keys, and you can spot a bus stationed in the background. Brian is handing a gun to Jason, so he's clearly walking him through something again. Jason has a noticeably bigger beard here, which confirms we can grow facial hair, just like we could in Red Dead Redemption 2. Then there's the Cal Hampton screenshot, which also features Jason and two other unnamed characters I mentioned earlier. You can see the woman I talked about with the iguana. She is definitely not a random NPC. You can see that same iguana right there in the shot with her. You can spot her house in another screenshot featuring that woman, and you can see it again right here. That tells us she is not random, and that she is actually relevant to the story somehow. I think this whole scene takes place in the Rusty Anchor, the bar we talked about earlier. At least that's my read on it. By the way, you can see they're playing pool here, and Jason has a shot with Key Lanto written on it, which is actually the place he lives. The guy talking to the woman, I think he's the same one from the screenshot with Brian in the background. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. Another screenshot shows Cal Hampton and Jason together. So yeah, Jason and Cal are clearly tight. Brian's Boatworks Marina is in the background again. Hard to say if they are rolling out to a job or just wrapping one up. They are carrying duffel bags that look stuffed, and both of them are grinning, so my money is on post-mission. Looks like Brian already paid them out. Nothing confirmed, but the read feels right. Next shot is Jason out fishing with Cal Hampton. Jason's clearly enjoying the fishing, but Carl's focused on something else entirely, scanning the area. Could be they're keeping a low profile while scoping something out for a mission. In the background, you can spot Key Lanto and that 5-story apartment building we've seen in earlier shots. And here's that bar screenshot again. Pretty confident this is the Rusty Anchor. Could be wrong, just going off what we can see. Either way, Jason and Carl are posted up having a beer together. Jason's got a lager, Carl's drinking a Patriot beer. In the background, there are two guys who do not look happy at all, and Carl is nudging Jason like something is about to go sideways. Yeah, a fight is definitely coming. On the table, you can see cash and a cigarette sitting in an ashtray. The whole shot has this cold, cinematic feel to it. Now let's get into the community-built map. This map was put together by Yannis and a crew of people on Discord, and honestly they deserve full credit because the amount of time, people, and triangulation that goes into something like this is insane. And it looks great, so let's break it down. Obviously the Leonida Keys sit at the bottom of the map, and even though the area looks thin on paper, it is actually a lot bigger than it appears. Let's start from the left side, which is the least documented, and work our way toward the more detailed parts of the map. This area over here is called Key West. Nobody's confirmed it yet, but speculation points to Key West making it into the game. There's also chatter about a naval air station somewhere in the Keys. That shot from Trailer 1 lands right here, looking out over Bahia Honda Key, where you can spot Fat Albert just floating up there above everything. The bridges connecting it are visible too, sitting right where you'd expect them on the map. This whole area has been mapped out by the community. Honestly though, there's not a whole lot going on here. Right here we've got the screenshot that dropped with Trailer 2. It's looking out toward Vice City from this angle. You can see all those bridges and Key Lanto sitting right there on the right, which is basically where things start getting interesting. And again, the focus pulls back to Key Lanto. More buildings, more locations in Key Lanto that we are about to dig into. This screenshot gives us the clearest look yet at the full layout. Still on Key Lanto here. And this one opens up even more of it, more buildings, more spots we will actually be covering. We have finally hit the most interesting stretch of the Leonida Keys. Key Lanto, this is where the action is, where our safe house is, where Brian runs his boat mechanic operation, and where a lot of the early story kicks off. Look at this, fans mapped out almost every single building in this area and actually found real-life counterparts for most of them, which you can see on screen right now. I'm not going to walk through each one individually because honestly it doesn't add much to the big picture. But here's where it gets interesting. That shot of Jason and Cal Hampton fishing on the boat I mentioned earlier, that's right here. In the screenshot you can clearly see Key Lanto in the background and that apartment building right there. It's a pretty distinct landmark and it basically pinpoints exactly where that shot was filmed. Then over here, another screenshot, this time a full-on boat party happening out on the water. It's located right here and you can tell because of that bridge, the houses, and the tower lining up perfectly. And this is the spot where tourists are heading into the souvenir store. That scene plays out right here. Then there's the trailer moment where Jason grabs a pack of Patriot beer and walks out of a convenience store, and that store sits right next to that souvenir shop. Over here we have Brian's hangar, and you can see it's been mapped out too. We can clearly see a lot more moments from this area. From trailer 2 and the screenshots we were going through, including that shot where Brian is giving instructions to one of his workers. And right here is that bar I mentioned with the dock where Jason and Lucia were just sitting, drinking, killing time. We have a solid number of screenshots from this spot too. Worth noting, some people have placed both of these bars at the same location, so on this map the rusty anchor is marked as the bar we've seen from a few different angles. Maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong. Could genuinely be two different bars. Then we get to the most interesting location on this whole section of the map. The safe house, the actual place where the early part of the game is going to unfold. The one Jason was fixing up and someone actually tracked down the real world building it's based on, which you can see right here. It's sitting right next to basically everything, the bar, Brian's boat works, the marina, all of it within walking distance. Everything on that map looks seriously dense, way more packed in than you'd expect for this part of the Keys. And it's close enough to the bridge that getting to Vice City from there should be easy. That said, it is still a solid drive from here to Vice City, and that last shot, that's pulled straight from the opening of trailer 2. To be exact, it happens right here, and the view overlooking this spot is genuinely stunning. They finally track down where that short clip of Cal Hampton sitting on a boat, taking a package drop from a plane, actually takes place. From what I can tell, they pieced it together from just this one bridge visible at the end of the shot, which puts it right here. And that is basically the full picture of Leonida Keys and what it looks like across the map. First, let's pull up the official GTA 6 website description. This is Leonida's Forgotten Coast. Shuttered attractions and dead strip malls are not bringing the tourists back, but something else has moved in to fill the gap. It runs on malt liquor, painkillers, and truck stop energy drinks. Grab a dirt bike and keep a hand on your wallets. This place used to be a real town, a genuine tourist destination with actual foot traffic. But things shifted hard, and the screenshots make that obvious. Now it runs on a completely different economy, and that economy is crime and drugs, not just painkillers. It's a gritty pocket of the map with a very specific crowd calling it home. This is probably one of the more dangerous areas we'll be dealing with. Expect weird characters, unpredictable events, and crimes happening basically out in the open. Maybe there's a drug operation buried somewhere in the area, or some unhinged killer with a whole mystery attached to them that we'll need to dig into. Obviously, these are just my ideas, but hey, it's Rockstar. They have a way of making this stuff real. Before we dig into the screenshots and trailers, and there is a lot to cover there, I want to take a closer look at the postcard Rockstar put up on the official website. It actually animates when you visit the site, but we are working with the static version here, so let's break it down. First thing you notice is the train track, with someone standing there waiting for their train to pull in. And just like GTA 4, GTA 5, and Red Dead Redemption 2, you can bet we will be riding those trains in GTA 6. If you played Red Dead Redemption 2, you already know trains were one of the best money-making tools early on, especially when you were still scraping together cash. You could stop a train on a bridge and rob every single passenger on it, clean and brutal. That is absolutely something I expect to pull off in GTA 6. Rockstar put trains in for a reason. You can also spot Joe's Fruit sign on the right, cars weaving in and out, trucks moving through. No tourists here, this is straight up industrial territory. In the background, there are industrial buildings and factories stacked up behind each other. And check out this guy in the purple hoodie. He is definitely not the owner. Watch how he creeps up to peer inside the car, scoping for anything worth grabbing. Then over to the right you can see a repairs and salvage sign, which means there is a salvage yard here. I fully expect this place to be packed with stuff to loot, break into, and poke around in for secrets, mysteries, all that good stuff. Maybe even collectibles like hats the way Red Dead Redemption 2 had them scattered everywhere. Honestly, that feels totally plausible to me. And obviously, for a location called Port Gellhorn, there is an actual port visible in the background. You can spot cranes, boats, a water tower you can probably climb and loot from the top. So that is just one shot of Port Gellhorn, but it already tells you a lot. And trust me, there is way more to cover here. The first trailer alone gives us a solid read on what Port Gellhorn is about and what you will actually be doing there. That convenience store robbery, that goes down in Port Gellhorn. First trailer, we see Lucia and Jason walking out of the store together. Looks like they have already got what they came for. They've got the cash from the store. And right now, they're trying to get out of there. Then an alligator just walks straight into the gas station. It goes down right next to Stadler's Motel, which sits inside Port Gellhorn. We'll get to that area in a bit. There's clearly a lot going on there. And these locations, the store and the gas station both, are packed with detail. The level of detail here is genuinely insane. The sheer number of things packed into that one gas station shot tells me that even back in 2023, when this trailer dropped, the game was already on another level. And yeah, it was, but when it finally releases in 2026, pushing into 2027, we are going to be absolutely floored. Then we get this clean shot of Jason. Looks like he has already hit the store we were just talking about, and they are riding out fast, both of them grinning, wearing the exact same fits you can spot earlier. In the background, you can make out a pawn and gun shop, basically a combined pawnbroker and firearms dealer, plus a bunch of cars and what looks like a genuinely run-down stretch of road. Behind that, there is a house mid-construction, and right next to it another one that looks almost totally abandoned, no roof, falling apart. You can also pick out a shoe store ad and some kind of hanger sitting off to the side of the road. This whole scene is playing out in Port Gellhorn, and we know that for a fact because as they are drifting through the shot, you can literally read the sign, Port Gellhorn, pawn and gun. So Port Gellhorn is confirmed for this shot, no question. And that ending scene in the motel where Lucia and Jason are on the bed talking. You might have already seen it in the leaks, but yeah, this is Port Gellhorn 2. It's the same motel we see in trailer 2, but we'll get to that later. We also have an official artwork of that exact motel. You can see it all lines up, the wooden wall, the bed, all of it matches. Now look at this, in that artwork they've got a massive duffel bag full of money. So they've robbed something, and it's not a convenience store or a pawn shop. This is something way bigger, like a small bank or maybe even a major one. They're lying low in that motel, that duffel bag of cash sitting right there with them. It's not totally clear where this falls in the timeline, but it's definitely not the opening hours. Feels more like the middle of the game. Either way, that bag points to something serious going down, a major heist, not some corner store job. Now let's move on to the second trailer. The first shot we can clearly make out has Jason and Lucia sitting together in a car. That scene looks like it's set in Port Gellhorn. The community-built map backs that up, placing this shot squarely in Port Gellhorn. The bikers in the background might make you think Ambrosia at first, since that area is known for biker gangs, but the other details here still point clearly to Port Gellhorn. The second trailer also gives us a look at the Starlit Motel. We caught a glimpse of this place in the leaks, and it showed up briefly at the tail end of the first trailer too. The second trailer finally lets us see the exterior properly. Anyone who dug into the leaks will clock it instantly. It was front and center in that scene with the Jay Norris dialogue. The trailer gives us a slightly different angle here compared to the screenshots we already picked apart. There's also an interior shot with Lucia and Jason back inside the motel, specifically the room we first saw in trailer 1. Same room, but this time they are near the bed rather than on it, probably a second or two from climbing in. Same room from the leaks, the first trailer, and the official artwork. It keeps showing up for a reason. Looks like it doubles as a safe house, probably after something big goes down. And here's the tell, Lucia's ankle monitor is gone. That rules out the game's opening, so we're looking at somewhere around the middle chapters. The trailer's final shots show Jason on a bike in a hard chase, and there's a red sign clearly reading Gellhorn. So no, this isn't early game. The scene reads as Port Gellhorn, not Ambrosia, different vibe entirely. Signs for Weisdale and Mariana County are visible too, and the streets are packed with traffic. Rockstar is really selling the idea that this world just exists on its own. Then Jason launches off his bike and lands on a moving car Lucia is driving, and the camera catches Watkins Auto Parts and a shop full of burned-out scooters flying past. This feels like a full mission set in Port Gellhorn, and there may be a duffel bag stuffed with cash somewhere in the middle of it. Overall, this mission looks intense, and the Stylat Motel will probably serve as our safe house for a solid chunk of the early game. Now let's get into the screenshots and actually look at some of these locations up close. Starting with the Stylat Motel, which I've touched on before, but this screenshot deserves a much closer look. We saw this spot from the inside in the first trailer, then from the outside in the second one when Jason was beating some guy up. This new screenshot finally gives us a proper detailed look at what's going on here. In the image, there's a woman talking to a man sitting in a Canny's, specifically a Canny's Jeep, just parked out front. That interaction reads like a street-level transaction, if you know what I mean. There's also some construction happening nearby, looks like maintenance or pipe work of some kind. On the left, a guy with a chain is hovering around, cigarette in hand, radiating pure sketchiness. Near the entrance, two women are hanging around outside. One of them is photographing a cat, which is honestly a very specific detail for Rockstar to put in. Through the windows, you can actually make out the motel interior. The sign is completely beat up, advertising king-size beds and low rates, and there are literal pigeons sitting on it. It also advertises a pool with Wi-Fi. The pool itself looks like it hasn't seen water in years. There's a woman lying out by the pool at night, and she does not look sober. This is definitely Port Gellhorn, and it is one of the more interesting corners of the map. Next, we see two men who are clearly not just random NPCs. These guys are criminals. Behind them, there's what looks like a small plantation or some kind of operation, which might explain exactly where Lucia and Jason got that massive duffel bag of money. Maybe they robbed these guys blind, cash earned through drug money or whatever else was going on back there. We can't pin down the exact location, but it hints pretty hard at missions tied to this whole area. And then there's another shot that hammers the criminal activity theme home. A woman is selling blue pills to guys in a car, and there's another man hanging back in the background playing bodyguard, making sure the trade goes clean. So yeah, drug trade and criminal operations are clearly baked into this location, and you can bet some missions are going to run right through it. Now we get a look at a genuinely interesting spot. A strip club worth noting, GTA 6 actually has two of them. GTA 5 only had one, GTA 6 doubles it. This one is called The Lights, the other, Jack of Hearts, sits in Vice City and is owned by Booby Ike. But we'll get to Jack of Hearts later, right now The Lights. The place is clearly up and running, hiring dancers, serving food, open all night. In the same scene you can spot two homeless people, one pushing a cart loaded with everything he owns, and a woman who looks to be in rough shape. No shelter, no safety net, just the street outside a strip club. There's also a guy getting bounced from the club, which reads like a random event we'll be running into constantly. Off to the left, there's a man who looks like he rides. Two dancers, a bodyguard keeping watch, and a couple of people in what might be a deal going down. Hard to say for certain, but it looks like more than just small talk. Worth noting, the game will feature male strippers for the first time, which is a genuine first for the series and something a lot of players have wanted. And behind all of it, residential houses filling out the background. A van rolls past and the whole area just looks packed with detail, the kind of density you stop and stare at. A lot is happening in this one shot. It reads like a casual hangout, a loose group of people just killing time together. You can spot some flirting going on, a guy stretched out beside a car, wet belly and all, clutching a patched up beer while a woman nearby is clearly working her charm on him. On the left, people are sitting in the open trunk of a car, which is a fantastic detail we have never seen before. Nothing like that existed in GTA 5 or any earlier GTA, especially not with NPCs actually doing it organically. There's also a massive crate of beers in the shot, and the girl on the right looks a lot like Lucia. Meanwhile, some guy is hauling a wooden pallet somewhere, no idea where, but the point is the whole scene is buzzing with little bits of life. None of it is illegal, just people hanging out, but it is a genuinely lovely slice of the world Rockstar is building. If we roll past this group at night as the player, that could be a seriously fun moment to stumble into. Really cool interactive setup gives you a reason to stop and actually see what these people are doing, or maybe get involved somehow. Finally, let's take a closer look at the community-built map of the state of Leonida, put together by Yannis and a ton of other talented people from the mapping Discord. Massive respect to all of them for this seriously incredible work. I'll be using their map to guide us through how all these locations actually connect. So starting with Port Gellhorn, specifically the Starlit Motel. You'll notice labels like L19 and L143 scattered around. Those correspond directly to info pulled from the leaks. They won't dig into the clips themselves, but the map clearly plots out that pool shot from trailer 2, plus the roadside screenshot I just mentioned. Right across from the motel sits the gas station from the first trailer. That's the one with the alligator. There's also a Takabomb nearby, which is a parody of a real fast food chain. So the Starlit Motel is sitting just outside Port Gellhorn proper, maybe a 20-second drive from the center of the city. Next up is T277, a shot from trailer 2. This is the one I flagged earlier. It catches part of a chase sequence, with Jason hunting someone down on a bike. And right here we can actually see where that chase continues. The order is a bit murky, but one stretch of the pursuit runs alongside a restaurant, and another plays out right next to the convenience store Jason and Lucia knocked over in trailer 1, sitting right about here on the map. We also need to talk about that trailer 1 shot of Jason and Lucia driving and drifting near the pond in Garn and Port Gellhorn, which we already covered. Just nearby, you've got the Lucky Pluck. It looks well kept, and there are also shots from the leaks that I can't show on screen, but everything lines up cleanly with what's mapped out here. Then at the start of the video, I mentioned a postcard. You probably remember it. That postcard actually comes from this exact spot, and you can see it right there, overlooking the bridge and the port. The area isn't fully mapped yet since there's not a ton of visible detail, but it still gives us a solid read on where it takes place, right next to the strip club we talked about earlier. Everything in this pocket of Port Gellhorn is crammed together. The store being robbed is right there, the chase from trailer 2 goes down just over here, and the strip club sits right alongside it. All of these locations packed into a tiny footprint, which makes this part of the city feel genuinely dense and lived in. Remember that scene with the NPCs just hanging around? That actually takes place right here, mapped out in this image. I'm not totally sure how the community managed to pin it down so precisely, but they nailed it. The amount of detail they packed into that single location is honestly wild. Finally, there's one more shot I want to break down. As I mentioned, it's still not totally clear whether this is Ambrosia or Port Gellhorn, mainly because we've got bikers in the background. Bikers aren't locked to Ambrosia, they can show up anywhere, but based on the map, this scene tracks along this road with a hotel sitting nearby. We also caught this exact location in the leaks, which you can see right here. So taken together, all of this gives us a pretty solid read on what Port Gellhorn actually looks like. Areas marked in black and gray are largely confirmed through leaks, trailers, screenshots, and triangulation, so that data is solid. Everything in red is still speculative, but a raceway looks likely here along with some kind of hill that shows up in the leaks. Vice City is the crown jewel of the entire GTA 6 map, and it is not even close. Rockstar clearly went all in on this one. It is easily one of the most exciting parts of the whole map, bottling up the glamour, hustle, and raw energy of America into a single city. Everything in excess. We are a long way from the 80s, but Vice City is still the sun and fun capital of America, and it looks like it. The glamour, the hustle, the greed, all of America's worst impulses crammed into one city. Every neighborhood brings something different. Pastel Art Deco hotels and white sand beaches at Ocean Beach, the bustling panaderias of Little Cuba, the chaotic bootleg energy of the Tisha Walker Flea Market, and then the VC port rounding it all out as the cruise ship capital of the world. And like the description says, Vice City has moved on from the 80s. That much is obvious just from looking at the trailers. It is also a clear Easter egg referencing the original Vice City game from 2002. Rockstar definitely put that line in there on purpose. The official website says it still has the same fun and atmosphere it always had, and honestly, that tracks. The original Vice City was genuinely incredible. A lot of locations from the original GTA Vice City map are coming back, and honestly, we've probably already spotted a few of them buried in the trailers. They also name-dropped the Tisha Walker Flea Market, which is pulled straight from the real-life Opalaka indoor flea market. The cruise ship capital of the world gets a mention too, and if Rockstar actually lets you commandeer a cruise ship, that would be genuinely insane. We already saw one in a screenshot, and it is not a small boat. This thing is massive. Whether we can actually take the wheel and drive it is still up in the air, but if that turns out to be real, it changes everything. Even just walking around inside that thing and poking into every corner would be worth it on its own. Now let's get into the Vice City postcard. Right away it looks incredible. Skyscrapers and high-rises stacked up in the background, and one of them is still mid-construction. But let's hope Rockstar actually finishes what they start this time, because that GTA 5 skyscraper sat half-built for the entire game. We do not want that same unfinished business in GTA 6. Look closer at the postcard, and you can spot an island out there. It looks pretty bare aside from the trees, but honestly every one of these islands is a potential treasure hunt waiting to happen. If Rockstar goes that route, that is exactly the kind of side content that makes an open world worth exploring. There are boats everywhere too, yachts, mega yachts, super yachts, the whole fleet, and every single one of them should be drivable. Over to the right you can make out more buildings under construction, cranes still up, and what looks like some kind of factory or industrial complex. And there is another one right next to it. You can spot a Ferris wheel here too, and it actually shows up again in a screenshot we'll get to a bit later. If I'm reading this right, that massive shape out there is the cruise ship I mentioned earlier, and honestly it is absolutely enormous. Now let's dig into the trailers, because Vice City shows up a ton across both of them. Starting with the first one. This is already one of the most memorable shots in either trailer, the Vice Beach area in full view. Beach packed with people, a yacht, a boat, jet skis, a shark cruising through, birds everywhere. There's also a crowd flooding onto the sand and that plane trailing an ad for Club 919, which looks like a spot we're going to be seeing a lot of in-game. And you can really feel the scale here too, just looking at how many buildings are stacked up and how much ground this area actually covers. Tons of high rises, skyscrapers, and what looks like a serious amount of places to dig into. Honestly, Vice City is way bigger than Los Santos. It's not even close. The very next shot gives us another look, and again, it's more high rises that we're really hoping we can actually walk into. Obviously not every building is going to be enterable, but maybe Rockstar pulls through and surprises us with how many actually are. On the left you can spot a drawbridge, which opens up a ton of possibilities for stunt jumps, tricks, all of that good stuff. If you zoom in on the windows, you can make out interiors inside, so either that building is fully enterable or Rockstar just put in way more detail than they had to. Every balcony has its own little touches too, towels, surfboards, random clutter, small stuff, but it adds up. And if you look closely, there are actually people standing out on those balconies. This beach shot gets shown constantly, and for good reason. There are loads of NPCs scattered around with genuinely different body types, all doing their own thing. Behind them you can still make out those same buildings we were just looking at. Scan the sky and you'll spot a couple of helicopters and a plane cutting through. The whole world just feels lived in and busy in a way that's hard to fake. Just watching the crowd is entertaining on its own. There's a jacked guy, a fit woman walking a dog, real variety. No surprise there, the wait system is confirmed and it sounds like it'll work similarly to San Andreas, where you could actually get jacked or fat depending on what you did. That mechanic is coming back. You'll also notice a guy holding up his phone, filming his girl as she dances. People are sprawled out sunbathing, others are scrolling their phones, and a few are slathering on sunscreen. It's just a beach doing beach things. That shot is genuinely cool, and the sand detail alone is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Here is the Vice City port, packed with boats and at least one massive shipping vessel loaded with containers. If you followed the leaks, you already know Jason cracked open one of those containers and pulled out a bike sitting on top of gold bars. That is definitely making it into the final game, and honestly, hunting through containers for loot sounds like one of those side activities you just lose hours to. In the background, you can also spot the Vice City skyline and planes cutting through the air above it. Right here we catch Lucia and Jason cruising right through the middle of Vice City, and it looks incredible. We actually get another angle on this same area a bit later in the trailer, closer to the Ferris wheel and the stadium they are calling Sahara Arena. Some guy is filming Lucia, and the nightlife around them looks absolutely electric. We'll get a proper look at it later, but even in this shot, the neon detail is ridiculous. Here you can see a crowd gathering to show off their customized cars, and if this is a hint at what vehicle customization looks like, it is going to be deep. Seriously, this stuff looks next level. Different cars, different builds, loads of variations and upgrades all in one shot. And here we get a look at Jacob Hart's strip club, which showed up in the leaks. It appears more than once in leaked material, so this is clearly a major story location, and one we will probably revisit plenty in Free Roam too. It is in Vice City, owned by Bobby Ike. And this shot honestly is something else. It's night, and the water is packed with yachts and boats of every size. They look great, and what gets me is that every single yacht will probably be fully drivable. The cruise ship is a question mark, but every yacht in this shot should be able to move, and that alone is insane. Night driving in this game is going to hit differently, cruising the map with music on, city lights reflecting off the water. Especially that first time you take it all in. We're all going to feel that one. Then we get a proper look at Ocean Beach, and if you played the original Vice City, you know exactly where you are. Expensive cars parked out front, nightlife fully alive, people out enjoying themselves, and there's a guy with an iguana on his shoulder hitting passersby up for cash while everyone just walks past him. Walking through Ocean Beach at night is going to be something else, all those lights and NPCs crowding the streets. Then we cut to a club DJ going hard, the whole crowd locked in. It looks genuinely packed, and every NPC in there actually looks distinct, not copy-pasted. Hard to say exactly how it will feel in-game, but the potential is obvious. This is happening outdoors, and I think it could be that area, because the Drake 1 Priest screenshot probably places that scene somewhere nearby. Could be wrong on that one, so take it as a guess, not a confirmed read. Next, and I am not trying to start a war in the comments, but that shot of the girl who looks like Lucia, I still think it is her, not buying the random NPC theory. Drop your take in the comments, I genuinely want to know what you think. Okay, Lucia was probably just an NPC who happens to look like her, but let's stay focused on Vice City in the background, because that's what we're actually here for. In the back you can see a basketball court and a dense cluster of buildings filling up the skyline. That area back there will come up again later, because it actually shows up in one of the official website screenshots. You can spot that same basketball court where Jason, Cal Hampton, and Lucia play a pickup game, so this is definitely a spot we'll be visiting at some point. Over here, a rich older guy is hanging out in his yard surrounded by women, basically throwing a private party for himself. Honestly, that's pretty accurate Miami energy right there. It's a busy, crowded scene, and the person who posted this clip goes by Deadbot Squad. The caption reads, "Hey puppy, save some sugar baby for the rest of us," which is genuinely funny. And this one is also set right in Vice City. A girl dancing in her car, and honestly the captions on these clips are gold every single time. They always get me. Someone call the Department of Transport on this dumb truck, like fair point. And honestly, hard agree. Right here we can also spot two characters who matter to the story, Balax and Roxy. They're filming a clip and you'll see exactly what that means a little later in the video. How much they changed by trailer 2 is wild, because here they're visibly outed in a big way. This is Vice City again, huge crowd, cars drifting everywhere, the clip being filmed mid-chaos. Nightlife in GTA 6 is going to go absolutely insane. And look at those effects, this is trailer 1 by the way. The smoke and the shadows cast by everyone standing in front of the cars look incredibly good, like genuinely next gen. Here we get a closer look. It is actually not the same spot where the filming is happening, because in the back of the shot you can literally see the Jack of Hearts strip club, which is going to show up a lot and ties directly into the story. Why are they standing right in front of it, you ask? Because they are connected to Drake One Priest, who is directly linked to Booby Ike, since they both own the Roll Records label where Balax and Roxy are involved. This shot is pretty interesting too. It shows something going down on a highway somewhere in Vice City. I don't know the exact spot, but the signs in the background read Vice City Port and Keys, so we're definitely still in that area. And obviously we'll also get Vice City International Airport, which I'll get into a bit later. Back to NPCs for a second, because there are some genuinely wild random interactions in this game, and this is one of them. This guy just abandoned his car in the middle of a live highway to pull this off, right there on the road. Interesting stuff, this shot is Vice City 2, you can tell from the buildings in the background. Looks like some kind of bike to me, unless I'm reading that wrong. These are the high rollers, and I'm pretty confident about that. Because you can spot this interesting looking guy here, who actually shows up again later in the same trailer, and it is clearly the same person. They're rolling on bikes, dirt bikes, and ATVs. The crowd is hyping them up, and honestly it looks like a blast to watch. This is probably one of the outer districts of Vice City, definitely not the downtown core. And we can see them again, this time with a cheeky news chyron slapped on screen, dirt bike dirt bags. You've got police vehicles on the scene, some people getting detained, others cheering them on, while the riders cut through traffic and bolt from the cops. The whole thing feels alive in a way that's hard to fake. My guess is this kind of chaos is going to pop off constantly throughout the game. The last shot from trailer 1 actually brings back the high roller guy I was just talking about. Pretty sure that's him. Same hairstyle, same build, same energy. In the background you can spot the bridge, some ads, and a lineup of customized cars that scream high roller lifestyle. This guy might not be a random NPC at all. Could be a recurring side character we run into more than once. Nothing confirmed yet, but the pieces are there. Now we're moving into trailer 2, which packs in even more Vice City footage than the first one. Let's dig into it because some of these shots are genuinely worth stopping on. Jason's behind the wheel here. High-rises line the right side, construction crew grinding away on the left. People riding in the trunk of a car, which I honestly forgot was a thing, but that's a great detail to have back. The plane cutting overhead looks sharp too. Tons of detail packed into one shot. You can even spot a sign for Ambrosia and Vice City Airport. This one's Ocean Drive. Two girls are straight up staring at Jason while he bench presses, and the guy is pushing 120 kilos. That's not a casual number, Jason is absolutely jacked. In the background, a woman walks her dog while a couple of NPCs mind their business, just working out in the open air. Honestly, this shot is cinematic as hell, the kind of framing Rockstar puts in when they want you to slow down and actually look. Here, Jason is cruising through what looks like a little Haiti area. A few cars are pulled up and you can see people being detained, cops doing their thing. Above it all, there is a metro rail running overhead, which is a direct nod to the real Miami Metro Rail that actually runs through Miami. And we will almost certainly be able to ride it, same as trains in Red Dead Redemption 2, the subway in GTA 4, and the metro in GTA 5. We actually got a glimpse of that in trailer 2, if you caught it. And if you were waiting for some action, here it comes. Jason and Lucia are robbing a bank in downtown Vice City, and this is not some corner store operation. The bank is called Sinfronterra National Bank, which tells you everything about the scale. This is a serious job. I think these two threads are connected. There's a short clip of Cal Hampton running a heist with Jason and Lucia, and it is almost certainly the same one. Matching outfits, duffel bags, the whole setup screaming bank robbery. Jason and Lucia also show up on a yacht in another moment from the trailer. It is clearly Vice City from the buildings in the background, and there is some kind of party happening with NPCs packed in all around them. Lucia is wearing a seriously nice dress. Jason looks sharp too, and this is almost certainly a mission. We saw them on a highway in trailer 1, Lucia in the same dress, but in trailer 2 it looks noticeably better, way more texture detail on it. Worth noting, we see them in these exact outfits again a bit later, which points to a proper hangout mission, the kind Rockstar loves. Red Dead 2 had them, GTA 5 had them with Lenny, and then again with Michael and Jimmy. So most likely it is that kind of deal, where the objective is just to be somewhere, enjoy it, and let the scene breathe. Something is clearly kicking off right here. We are right in the middle of a mission, no question. Jason and Lucia have done something because there is a police helicopter on them now. It looks like Lucia has to jump from a window, and Jason is there helping her out, probably catching her or guiding her down. The wall textures here are genuinely incredible. You can literally see dirt marks smeared across the window glass. Right here is another interesting mission because we are dead center in Vice City on Ocean Beach, with Jason hanging out the car window doing a drive-by on someone. So this is probably some kind of high-speed pursuit mission with real stakes on the line. And once again, we get a look at Vice City Metro Rail and Bay Lux. Like I said, both of them showed up in the first trailer. Now you can only see Bay Lux here, and she has changed quite a bit since then. This moment from trailer 2 is genuinely one of the best shots we have gotten so far. We are right in the middle of a mission, and while Jason is running interference, Lucia is actively blowing up police vehicles that are closing in on them. Just look at those details. Lucia is sitting in the back of a truck that has taken serious damage. Half the roof is literally gone, and she is still in there. Whether that level of destruction is locked to this one mission or actually carries through the whole game, I genuinely don't know, but either way it looks incredible. The effects hold up, and it all plays out on what looks like a highway. You can spot billboards and a bridge in the background. So this is Vice City, and honestly this might be a continuation of that same bank heist from Sin Frontier National Bank, because Lucia appears to be wearing the exact same outfit. Here we get our first look at Drake One Priest alongside Jason. They're both reacting to something on screen, and the body language alone makes it worth pausing on. Clearly shocked by whatever they just watched, and if you look at the background, there's a crowd of joggers and even a dog just living its best life. Also worth noting, there's a yacht and a Ferris wheel visible in the shot. This is clearly downtown Vice City, some kind of central district. Now this next moment is genuinely wild. Lucia and this absolutely massive woman are brawling, and they're right on the edge of a plane, nearly going over. No idea what the full context is here, but whatever this mission is, it might be the most chaotic thing in the entire game. There could be even crazier stuff later in the story, but right now, this looks completely unhinged. You can clearly see a wall of high-rise buildings packed into the background. They are flying over Vice City, and it looks absolutely intense. Here is another wild mission. They are literally towing a safe in the bed of a pickup truck through Vice City at night. So yeah, clearly some kind of heist is going down. They probably just robbed a bank, maybe a smaller one this time, but it still looks seriously cool. This moment is actually a direct nod to Fast and Furious 5, which had almost the exact same setup in the film. Here we get a look at a mysterious character whose name we still do not know. But he is definitely not some random NPC. For one thing, Lucia and Jason are standing right next to him. They are clearly having a blast, and this is probably that same mission I mentioned where Lucia and Jason are wearing matching outfits. This guy pops up more than once in trailer 2. I did a full video on the mysterious characters from trailers and screenshots, and he is one of them. He is definitely going to matter to the story. What his actual role is, I have no idea yet, but I am genuinely curious. Back to Ocean Beach, this place looks incredible, packed with NPCs and expensive cars everywhere you look. You can literally watch two girls climb out of a car just to get the perfect shot for their social media. Some of the cars are clearly customized builds too. Those custom builds look genuinely sharp. Just check out the rims on that Abe, they are clean. Pretty sick. There's a guy here snapping photos of some girls, and one of them is posing with a man who looks like he might actually be famous. Life on Ocean Beach is going to be wild, no question. This next shot is also Ocean Beach, another angle on the same strip. That's the club we already spotted in the Baylex and Roxy artwork. It's the Ocean View Hotel. You can actually read the name right there in the background of that artwork if you look closely. The purple neon cuts through the dark and looks genuinely sick. Girls dancing on the rooftops, crowds packed in below, the whole place is alive. This spot is going to be one of the more interesting locations to explore in the game. We actually caught it in a Blink Can You Miss It clip of Lucia and Jason cruising past the Ocean View Hotel on Ocean Beach. It's on the left side of the frame. A little blurred, but it's there. We're talking a single second of footage. Lucia is leaning out the window, and she looks completely in her element. In the background, you can clearly make out a club. It's a little blurry, but it's there, genuinely cinematic shot. I won't go into details, but trust me, we are going to have a blast in this place. And on the right side, you can spot the club owner, Bobby Ike. Right here, you can see Jason and Lucia together on a jet ski. Behind them, there's a full-on yard party, inflatable flamingos, more jet skis, signs everywhere, high-rises in the distance, and what looks like an island. So yeah, it's a yard party, and Jason and Lucia are rolling right up to it. And obviously they're part of it, just having an absolute blast. This next moment is worth pausing on. Lucia leaps off a bike onto a moving truck hauling a container with a Lamborghini inside, specifically the Pegassi GTS. That is a seriously intense mission setup. High-rises towering on both sides, traffic all around, happening right on a busy highway. My bet is this ties back to Bobby Ike somehow, since Rockstar officially tags him as a Vice City legend, and that kind of job has his fingerprints all over it. He could easily be the one who put this whole thing in motion. And then we get this shot. Golden sunset, Jason pushing across a bridge with the whole city stretching out behind him. You can spot a boat out on the water, mansions lining the shore, houses tucked in between. It all looks genuinely great. Look at that, that is a proper cinematic shot right there. You've got a whole skyline of buildings, including that one under construction I mentioned earlier. A really clean sunset shot, hard not to appreciate it. I really wanted to wrap up the trailer breakdown here and jump straight into the screenshots, but we're not quite done yet. There are still a few extra things we need to cover first. These are the artwork and character screenshots set in Vice City, though we will still get to some dedicated Vice City screenshots later. So stay with us because those are coming. First up, we've got Bobby Ike, the owner of the Jack of Hearts strip club. He's clearly inside his club, you can tell just from what's behind him, and yeah, we're going deep on Jack of Hearts today. I wanted to cover everything tied to that club before we move on. Next is the artwork for Drake One Priest. He's posted outside Jack of Hearts strip club, which makes sense because he's directly connected to Bobby Ike. You can see high-rises filling the background, the Jack of Hearts sign up top, and a crowd of people with security spread throughout. If you caught the leaks, this place looks seriously impressive, especially considering that footage was from 2022 and the clips themselves were shot even earlier than that. Bobby Ike is sitting in his office, leaned back at the table, money and jewelry spread out all around him. Outside the club now, Booby Ike and Drake One Priest standing together, looks like they just pulled up. Background is full of security and people talking, this place has real weight to it. Worth mentioning, Drake One Priest and Booby Ike actually live in the castle. From the looks of it, they just got there. This shot is Booby Ike in his element, clearly enjoying the girls working at his strip club. Just sitting there completely surrounded, not a care in the world. Another scene catches Booby Ike posted up with a double cup right there on the floor of his club. Still surrounded, still settled in. Then we get one more scene with Booby Ike and Drake One Priest together, except here Drake One Priest has moved up to the second floor. He's just standing there on the balcony with a couple people around him, all looking down at the floor below. Clearly having the time of his life. One more screenshot of Drake One Priest also catches Baylax and Roxy in the frame. They're part of the label owned by Booby Ike and Drake One Priest, so of course they're all together in the club. Another screenshot has Real Dimes dancing on their car right out front of Jack of Hearts Club. You can see all the same buildings from Trailer 1 in the background, so this is probably the same event, just caught from Trailer 2's footage. Here's a quick clip of Booby Ike back in his club, full good mood, looking straight into the camera with a grin. Behind him, money is flying through the air and everyone around him is going crazy. Now let's talk about the official artwork featuring Jason and Lucia. The art that dropped with the first trailer is set on Ocean Beach. You've probably seen it 100 times already, but here it is again, Vice City. Jason and Lucia are side by side, right in front of the Atlantis Hotel on Ocean Beach. The second piece, released alongside Trailer 2, puts them in the middle of a heist, also in Vice City. Lucia is holding a briefcase, cops are on them, and there's a helicopter overhead. The boat they came in on is riddled with bullet holes. Behind them you can make out a wall of buildings and a bridge cutting across the skyline. And all of this is right in the heart of Vice City. Remember that vivid spot covered wall-to-wall in murals with a car meet full of heavily customized rides? This is that area. It's based on real-life Wynwood in Miami, and Rockstar clearly studied the place hard. All of this artwork, including the Batista section, also sits within the Cerium area. The walls are stacked with murals, the whole structure has that raw street art energy, and the Row Batista piece in particular looks really good. Next up is Ocean View Hotel. I touched on this artwork before. You can spot Real Dimes, Roxy, and Baylux right there in the same shot. It's on Ocean Beach. We've seen this place come up multiple times already, especially at night, and it looks absolutely insane. Now I want to pull your attention to something specific. In GTA 6, there's going to be a studio, clearly owned by Booby Ike and Requan Priest, tied to the Raw Records music label. Real Dimes, Requan Priest, and our main characters will almost definitely be showing up there more than once. This screenshot right here shows Requan Priest, a bunch of NPCs, and a music app that looks a lot like FL Studio, surrounded by a ton of slick-looking electronics. We actually get a better look at that place through the Baylux screenshots. You can see it right there in that studio shot. I'm not 100% sure it's the exact same one, but honestly it probably is. And I'm completely sure all of this is going down in Vice City. This short clip too, where we see Requan Priest and Real Dimes walking into the studio. You can even spot some awards on the wall and a sign that says recording. So this is almost certainly the same room we just saw. Another short clip plays out at Jack of Hearts, and this one's about Roxy and Baylux. You can clock that it's Jack of Hearts by the balloons in the background. Real Dimes are back in the studio here again, and honestly it looks pretty slick. Pretty safe to say it's all the same studio throughout. This shot is almost certainly in Vice City too, though the exact spot isn't clear. You can spot Requan, Priest, and Roxy all in the car together. Could be right outside the Jack of Hearts strip club. This screenshot shows Jason leaning against a tree, phone in hand. There's an expensive car parked in the background, NPCs everywhere, nightlife absolutely buzzing, people standing on the roof. Actually, take a close look at those windows. Those rooms look enterable, and I really hope they are. Another Jason screenshot looks like he's standing on a bridge or some kind of overpass. You can see highways, roads, and high-rises stretching out behind him. These details look seriously sharp. Just look at the character model up close. The arms, hair, watch, every little thing is modeled with real care. It looks genuinely next-gen. And again, this is clearly somewhere in Vice City. Now let's get into the Lucia screenshots. She's at some pool right in the middle of Vice City. You can spot Jason chilling in the background too. Lucia's got AirPods in, just floating in the pool like she doesn't have a care in the world. Here's another shot worth breaking down. In trailer 2, we got Jason and Lucia dressed up in proper club outfits. I told you to remember those fits because this looks like that same nightclub, probably the same mission or event. Right here you can see Raul Batista alone in a car, duffel bag of money sitting right next to him. In the background, there's a bank sign you can make out, and it looks like a returning location from GTA 5. Definitely Vice City, high-rise buildings everywhere, a drawbridge, that classic golden sunset. Now Raul Batista is on a yacht. Still Vice City, no question. Last shot of this section shows Raul Batista in a white costume, NPCs scattered behind him. It looks a bit like Ocean Drive, though I'm not totally sure on that. No idea of the exact spot, but it's Vice City, no question. Now we're finally getting into proper Vice City screenshots. Everything before this was mostly character stuff, even if you could spot locations in the background. From here on out, these screenshots are basically locked in Vice City proper. First up, a plane flying right over a Vice City sign. Probably somewhere near the airport, but the exact location isn't clear yet. Still, it's a sign, and that alone is worth something. I genuinely cannot wait to track it down in-game the moment this thing drops. The second screenshot is an ocean beach shot, and it actually gives us something worth talking about. There's a young guy paired up with an obviously older woman, classic cougar situation, and it is pretty clear this is not a love story. Beach stretching out behind them, palm trees everywhere, sunlight hitting the whole scene in a way that makes it look almost too clean. You can literally spot a palm leaf draping over one of the structures, and there are NPCs just lounging by the pool like it's any other Tuesday. The whole thing looks sharp, honestly one of the better postcard shots we have gotten so far. Then this screenshot gives us a proper look at the center of Vice City itself. As I mentioned, we can see a basketball court where Jason and Cal Hampton are playing, and Lucia is literally just standing right there watching. There is some kind of police pursuit going on, criminals actively running from the cops. You can also spot a hotel called Valletta. Behind it, the skyline is packed, buildings, high-rises, skyscrapers stacked on top of each other. Helicopters in the air too. Overall, this looks incredible and just hammers home how genuinely massive Vice City is. Right here we get a look at these two guys who were visible in the first trailer, because a lot of people speculated these are actually the same characters from that trailer, just with updated looks. Maybe that holds up, maybe not, hard to say for certain, but this location is probably the little Haiti area of Vice City based on the structures visible in the background. This screenshot drops us back on Ocean Beach. The place is packed, people moving in every direction. There's a guy sweeping the sand with a metal detector, a lifeguard posted up, and an old couple nearby where the grandfather is very clearly checking out a woman sunbathing. A little further back, some people are tossing around an American football. And if you look at the buildings in the background, you will recognize them straight away from Trailer 1. So yeah, this is Ocean Beach confirmed again. Now this next screenshot is taken right outside the Ocean View Hotel. 4 women are getting detained by the police. They clearly don't care. The cops are detaining them and they're just having a blast anyway. Not a single one of them is taking this seriously. I'll say it again, look at the windows. You can actually see inside the building, and here's the wild part, check the car, there's condensation on it, real condensation, that's insane. This screenshot is inside the Jack of Hearts Club. And once again, we're up close and personal with the dancers. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I want to point out one thing. Just look at the sweat on their bodies. Now my favorite Vice City screenshot is this one right here. It looks incredible. Nighttime, neon lights everywhere, and the whole scene just pops in a way the daytime shots can't touch. Let's break down what we're actually looking at in the interior. We've got a ton of cars packed in there, and some of them are clearly not cheap. There's a concert hall, what looks like a Marriott hotel, and of course the Sahara Arena we already spotted back in the first trailer. So this whole area is basically one giant entertainment district. There's a Ferris wheel, a bridge visible in the background, and something I've brought up before, a massive cruise ship sitting in the water that you should absolutely be able to board, explore, and maybe even pilot. No confirmation on that last part, but if Rockstar actually lets you take the wheel of that thing, it's going to be insane. And right there in the frame, you can also spot the Vice City port. Overall, this area looks seriously impressive. The last screenshot before we get into the community-built map is this one here. I think it's somewhere in the Wynwood area. There's what looks like a metro rail overhead, or maybe a highway overpass. And again, bike gangs, probably the high rollers rolling through here. Could be a different crew entirely, hard to say for certain. There's a homeless guy with a dog, a stretch of lawn covered in customized cars, a few other vehicles parked around, and some kind of advertisement plastered on top of a building. One real estate agency stands out, and something you've probably spotted a dozen times already. The Gloriana Estate license plate, which is based on real-life Georgia, the state right next door to Florida. Whether it actually makes it into the game, we'll find out soon enough. Alright, we're done going through screenshots and trailer moments. Now it's time to dig into the community-built map. This map was put together by Yannis and a crew of people on Discord, and they genuinely deserve credit for the insane amount of work they put in. Triangulating all of this takes serious time and a lot of hands. It looks incredible, so let's get into it. Obviously, Vice City. We'll be spending most of our time on the right side of the map, in and around the city itself. It's the single biggest location on the entire map. It's bigger than Los Santos, bigger than any map Rockstar has shipped in the entire GTA series. So let's start from the bottom left corner and work our way through. This is the shot where a pickup truck is hauling a safe. That's clearly the heist Jason is tied to, and it's going down right here at a place called Gable's Estate. Right next to it, there's a moment from trailer 2 of Jason cruising down a highway with a plane cutting overhead. That location lines up perfectly here, and it actually explains why the plane flies so low and why another one is coming in from that direction at a much higher altitude. Because Vice City International Airport sits right here on the left side of the map. Once you see it, everything clicks. The screenshot from Roll Batista. You can literally see that drawbridge in the background, the same one from the screenshot, and all those buildings are mapped out right there too. Now I want you to focus on this next location specifically. The Tequesta area is based on real-life Brickell, one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in Miami. So that moment from trailer 2 where the Arbonia Bank heist goes down, that takes place somewhere in this area. Then trailer 1 with those high-rise buildings and the drawbridge, that whole sequence plays out right here near the Miami River. And if you look to the right, Fisher Island is most likely where we will be able to play golf. It is marked in red right now because it is still speculative, but honestly it is almost certainly going to be in the game. The Vice City port is based on the real Miami port. We got a good look at back in trailer 1. Looking left from here, we can see Lucia brawling with a seriously jacked woman on top of a plane. It's one of the most interesting shots Rockstar has dropped so far. And it takes place right here, on this exact stretch of the map. There's another spot on the bridge just next to it, a little to the left, near Little Havana, which is GTA's version of Little Cuba. That's where Lucia blows up police vehicles mid-pursuit, cars just detonating behind her while the chase is still going. It happens right here, and honestly it's one of the craziest shots in any trailer. Over here we get a look at another location that's been getting a lot of attention. You can see exactly where the leaks were filmed right here. I cannot show them, but trust me, they were shot in this spot. This is the trailer 2 shot where Lucia leaps from the window with a helicopter hovering right above, and it all plays out exactly here. It goes down right at this location. There's also a trailer 1 moment with a woman I skipped in the main tour, but based on the mapping community's research, it should be somewhere in this area. We also have 2 screenshots pinned right here. This is the Little Haiti area, the same spot where we saw those 2 heavily redesigned guys from trailer 1, and that last screenshot we talked about is also here, and it genuinely looks great. Right next to it is the moment where that guy grabs his crotch as some kind of apology. It actually takes place right here, and it makes sense too, because he's driving from the top to the bottom of the map. Check the sign and it lines up perfectly. Over here we get a look at the spot where the DJ was playing. And it looks pretty solid. Here is the moment we saw Drake, One Piece, and Jason reacting to a video on a phone, and that whole scene plays out right here. This is also where Lucia and Jason were riding in a red supercar, sitting right next to Sahara Arena. Now this screenshot had me unsure for a while, but looking at it now I can't believe I missed it. Those high-rise buildings in the background place this firmly in Vice City. They actually connected this screenshot, and on top of that the dirt bike moment lands on this intersection right here, which is interesting. Just off that same intersection, the Bay Lux scene from trailer 2 drops in right next to it, and we can pin it there based on the grass in the area. Next up is the Ferris wheel moment with all the action around it, which is obviously Sahara Arena. It looks out over the area where the cruise ship is docked, and the whole view is genuinely impressive. Over here, our favorite location is the Jack of Hearts strip club. It sits right here on the map, so lock this one in your memory because we are all going to be spending a lot of time there. And right outside of it, they filmed that moment with Bay Lux and Roxy. Same deal in this screenshot, and in that trailer 1 clip, they are right next to the Jack of Hearts strip club. You can see it clearly across all these screenshots and trailer moments. Then if we pan a little to the right, we actually get the Venetian Islands from trailer 1. They look incredible, and they sit right there overlooking Vice Beach. One screenshot I had no idea how to place, and they actually nailed it right here. It is the moment where Lucia is in the pool and Jason is standing behind her. And the angle looks out this way. Since we're talking about the Venetian Islands, we should also flag this spot because another key moment plays out right here. You can see the full Vice City skyline from here. Skyscrapers and high-rises stacked up as far as the eye goes. Genuinely one of the best views on the map. Right next to it, also from trailer 1, the sugar daddy on the yacht scene is placed exactly here. And just next to that from trailer 2, the jet ski chase with Jason and Lucia goes down right in this area. You can see it clearly on the map, and based on the leaks, one of our safe houses is going to be located right here in Vice City, marked by this icon. Also worth noting, there are multiple tennis courts, one on the Venetian Islands and another right beside them, and basketball is confirmed too, so this area alone is going to have a lot to actually do. Alright, let's check this next area out. The high roller scene plays out right here in Little Haiti, like I mentioned, which sits pretty close to the Venetian Islands. Wynwood is the spot from trailer 1, and you can pin it right here on the map. It's tied up against Little Haiti and hugs the northern edge of Vice City. We're almost through Vice City, but there's one more place worth stopping on. This one actually comes straight from the postcard. Honestly, it looks clean, lots of character in the design. You can pick out a bunch of smaller buildings that showed up in that shot. You can literally see it marked right there. Those little picnic islands are visible in the screenshot and give away the exact spot. But before we get to the Vice Beach area, I want to spend a second on Waning Sands. Specifically that area where you can spot the gas station. In the background, you can already make out the tops of high-rise buildings sitting over in Vice City. Just so you have the right sense of scale and where everything sits relative to each other. What's also interesting is we're going to have a hospital in there, and on top of that there's the Leaf Links Golf Club, which old school fans will remember from the original Vice City. There was also a movie studio in that game, and honestly I think there's a pretty strong chance both of those come back in GTA 6. As someone who sank a serious amount of time into Vice City, I am genuinely hyped to see what Rockstar does with all of it. And then there's Vice Beach. The northern stretch of it, to be more exact. You can spot someone standing on a rooftop, and wherever you land on who that is, I'm convinced it's Lucia. That moment plays out right here. Then we get 2 screenshots. One gives us Hotel Valletta and the basketball court sitting right in this spot with all those background buildings we already covered visible behind it. The other screenshot has a cougar and a young guy next to a pool, and that whole scene maps to right here. Push a little farther south and you hit the moment from trailer 1. The opening shot, the first time any of us actually laid eyes on Vice City. In that trailer 2 moment, the crowd gathering near Dominion Hotel, that lands right here too. And this stretch right here is the most packed on the entire map when it comes to trailer and screenshot material, because it sits right next to Ocean View Hotel. That screenshot of the girls being detained, Jason and Lucia hugging, Jason standing by the palm tree in his own screenshot, all of that is happening in this exact spot I just pointed out. Then you've got Ocean View Hotel itself, straight out of Trailer 2. That Trailer 2 shot of Jason driving and shooting goes here too, and so does one of the most memorable scenes from Trailer 1 that basically everyone has burned into their brain by now. And also from Trailer 2, the shot of Jason pumping iron on the bench press, that's right here as well. A handful of leaks also land in this area. The gray ones mean the locators are pretty confident about placement, and the red ones are the shakier guesses. The shakier ones are basically speculation. That shot of the woman on top of a car near a dump truck, that one also falls here in Vice Beach. And the final Trailer 1 moment, the one with a huge crowd of NPCs packed onto the beach, lands almost at the very bottom of Vice Beach. And honestly, that's Vice City covered. That's how the city actually looks, laid out piece by piece. It's massive. If you're not convinced yet, you will be the second you load in. You're halfway through the video, and I genuinely appreciate you sticking around. We still have a few locations left to cover, so I hope you're locked in. All I ask is a subscribe and a like if you're getting anything out of this. Alright, sorry for the interruption, let's keep going. Welcome to the wetlands, the untamable jewel of Leonidas' crown. You never know what's lurking beneath the surface of this primordial expanse. The gators might be the headliner, but the description hints at far deadlier predators and weirder discoveries hiding deep in the mangroves. And honestly, that description alone tells you Rockstar has packed this place with things to find. The gators are obviously meant to be one of the big draws here, front and center. But what really gets me is that line about deadlier predators and weirder discoveries among the mangroves, because that is not throwaway flavor text. In GTA 5 San Andreas Red Dead Redemption, Rockstar always buried something out there in the wilderness: Bigfoot, strange cults, mystery killers. And Leonida is based on Florida, which has its own version of Bigfoot, the skunk ape, a real piece of local folklore that practically writes itself into a GTA Easter egg. It actually lives in the Everglades, which is exactly what Grass Rivers seems to be representing in GTA 6. What I think Rockstar is hinting at with all that talk about deadlier predators and weirder discoveries is that beyond the legendary wildlife, we are almost certainly going to stumble onto mysteries and strange creatures out there. Think skunk ape sightings, or the kind of unsettling characters Red Dead Redemption 2 hid at the edges of the map. Killers, cult types, people who really do not want to be found. Cabins feel like a lock too, weird discoveries, maybe even ghosts. That whole haunted backwoods energy fits perfectly here. There is genuinely a lot packed into this one area. First, let's look at the postcard from the official GTA 6 website. It shows an airboat, which makes total sense for a place like this. In real-life Everglades, airboats are basically the only way to get around, so seeing one here is a nice touch. Beyond that, the postcard does not give you much. Grass, bushes, trees, birds, a sunset. Pretty, sure, but pretty sparse on details. Do not write it off at first glance though, because the screenshots and trailers tell a much bigger story. So let's start with the trailers and work our way into the screenshots after. This shot from the first trailer looks almost identical to the postcard we just looked at. You can spot different birds and a couple of people on the airboat, and it's worth zooming in on them. One person is driving the airboat while the other is holding what looks like a carbine or shotgun, resting it against the seat. We'll get a much better look at these people later in the screenshots, since they're exactly the type who'd be living out here. The point is, this area is going to lean hard into hunting, kind of like Mount Calgar, except here it's all about alligators. And just like Red Dead Redemption 2, I think there's going to be a lot of depth to the people actually living in this region. But I'd bet we get at least a few standout encounters, including some massive legendary alligator that drops loot you can't find anywhere else. Maybe, just like in Red Dead Redemption 2, we'll be able to craft gear out of that legendary animal, but I might be getting way ahead of myself here. The next shot is right next to that one, and you probably remember this one. Flamingos, birds, ducks, deer in the background, and of course alligators. The wildlife here is packed. Grass Rivers is green, dense, and genuinely dangerous to move through on foot. Just like in Red Dead Redemption 2, alligators are no joke. If one catches you, you are basically done. You will need to be careful out there, and honestly your best bet is some kind of vehicle, an airboat or a car, anything to keep you off the ground. That said, this area is going to be a goldmine for players who are into fishing or hunting. Now things actually get interesting, because everything before this was pretty tame by comparison. Here in the second trailer, we get a much cleaner look at what appears to be a full mission playing out in this area. You can spot 2 airboats, a bridge cutting across the swamp, and wildlife everywhere. Deer bolting through the trees, boars scattering in every direction. But the real focus here is who is running this mission, Jason and Brian. Lucia is nowhere in this scene, which could mean this mission happens before Jason ever crosses paths with her. There's also a helicopter with a massive minigun mounted on it, with Brian and Jason at the controls, and honestly that looks completely unhinged. The level of detail here is almost unsettling. The whole shot reads closer to real footage than a game. Look at those water reflections. 2 people on the airboat, one driving, one turned toward Jason and almost certainly shooting at him. And just look at that reflection in Jason's glasses. You can literally see sunlight cutting right through them. That looks insane. The whole scene is this brutal, intense helicopter chase, and every frame of it is dripping with detail. And I guarantee most people, myself included, are going to try flying under that bridge the second they get a helicopter. Because come on, how could you not? Now let's get into the screenshots, because there are 4 of them and they are genuinely packed with new information. Once again, we are looking at an airboat. Like I said, these things are clearly a massive part of what this location is all about. We've seen airboats pop up in Ambrosia too, but in Grass Rivers they look like a core part of how you get around. These are clearly the kinds of locals you'll be running into out here, hillbillies, rednecks, that whole vibe. And they are absolutely strapped. The guns look genuinely cool. The weapons stand out too. These aren't just generic rifles. You've got scopes, camo patterns, custom colors, real variety. Gun customization is shaping up to be a serious system in this game. What really gets me though is the level of detail packed into this scene. You can spot a bobcat they actually caught and brought back. So bobcats are definitely roaming this area. There's an alligator in the shot too, which pretty much confirms that hunting them here is just a casual Tuesday. Then there's what looks like fishing bait somewhere in the scene, though I could be reading that wrong. We've also got Patriot beer cans and bottles scattered around. And honestly, those bottles look great. You've probably already clocked how realistic the bubbles are, how the liquid actually sloshes inside the glass. Everything in this scene is just insanely detailed. In the background, there's another cabin with a Patriot beer flag hanging out front and a sign that reads "No trespassing, violators will be prosecuted." Though I'm pretty sure if you actually step on this property, prosecution is the last thing you need to worry about. There are also some black-wrapped objects sitting around, and honestly I have no idea what those are. Could be nothing, could be something, who knows. Overall, this spot looks genuinely interesting, and I really want to get in there and poke around. Looking closer at the NPCs, the guy is rocking a pretty wild haircut and some colorful glasses that just work. The woman has a bunch of tattoos, and the guy has this cool necklace with what looks like a shark pendant on it. His beard is huge, and the detail on it is seriously impressive. I never caught this before, but his left eye actually looks damaged. Only one eye is fully open. That is a tiny detail, but it tells you a lot about what Rockstar is putting into these characters. Then we have another screenshot, and this one looks like it's out in some grassy backroad area. This one was a little too big for the keys folder, so I filed it under Grass Rivers and called it Grass River 2. No grass rivers actually visible here, but the vibe makes it obvious this belongs to that area. This location is genuinely interesting though. You've got wildlife, a boat packed with people out fishing, and what looks like a strip of cafes and restaurants with actual crowds hanging around outside. There's also what looks like a kid in the shot, which could be a big deal. If that really is a child NPC, it would mean Rockstar is putting minors in the world this time around. Another thing worth noting, you can literally see into the interior of one of these spots. Looks like a bar or restaurant, and there's what appears to be a pool table inside. That alone is pretty cool. Pan back a bit and you've got more restaurants, small cafes, a mix of cars and boats, and then in the background, Vice City itself, skyline full of skyscrapers, a factory sitting off to the right. The vehicle variety on display here is genuinely impressive. This whole location is clearly sitting on the more built-up, civilized edge of Grass Rivers, and it is going to be a great area to actually dig into and explore. That bar or restaurant in particular, the interior looks way too detailed to just be background dressing. This feels like somewhere you can actually walk in. Especially since you've probably already heard the rumors. A lot of buildings in GTA 6, even ones that look this detailed from the outside, won't be enterable. Some will be though, and this one might just make that list. This whole area is going to be massive for hunting and airboat gameplay. Airboats just keep showing up everywhere you look in Grass Rivers. Almost every screenshot and trailer moment from this region has at least one in it. And here's another airboat, and this one looks like a different model from the rest. You can tell just by the shape. There's a guy driving it and another one leaning out with a double-barrel shotgun, clearly going after alligators. My read is that the people in this screenshot are probably the same crew from the earlier one, minus the woman who isn't visible here. Look at the driver, he looks a lot like the guy from the first screenshot, even if the tattoos are slightly different. The guy with the double barrel also seems to share the same build and haircut as the one in that first screenshot, though that's probably not too important either way. Honestly, I think these are just random NPCs, nothing special, just unlucky enough to be near a swamp full of gators. Still, you can see 3 alligators closing in on them, which is, objectively, a terrible situation to be in. The water and the greenery look absolutely incredible, and the little details really sell it. A bucket, a net, a catch box sitting in the boat, it all just feels lived in. Now let's move on to the last screenshot. This final one is where things actually get interesting. You can clearly see a chase going down, so alligator hunting is either flat out illegal or maybe there's a bag limit, because the bed of that truck is absolutely packed with dead gators. One guy's driving while another rides in the back armed, and you can see police cruisers already on their tail. And of course, there's an airboat in the mix, plus a helicopter closing in overhead. Overall, this whole sequence looks seriously intense, exactly the kind of chaotic energy GTA 6 keeps delivering. This is honestly one of my favorite shots from the whole area, it just looks incredible. You can spot even more alligators, flamingos, deer, birds, all kinds of wildlife packed into one frame. Now let's look at the community-built map called State of Leonida, put together by Yannis and a bunch of other talented people from the GTA 6 mapping community on Discord. Massive shout out to all of them for putting in that work, seriously impressive stuff. I'll be using this map to walk through the Grass Rivers area. Let's start with the most thoroughly mapped section of Grass Rivers, which is Watson Bay. This screenshot right here is where that mapping is anchored, as you can see. They traced out basically every building visible in that shot, cafes, restaurants, all of it. They even matched those buildings to real-world locations that Rockstar likely used as reference. And honestly, the result looks really solid. Now the middle section of Grass Rivers is where things get speculative, because there just is not enough footage to pin anything down with confidence. It is a massive stretch of swamps, trees, water, dense brush, the works. Grass Rivers is genuinely one of the hardest parts of the map to call, because when all you have is a wall of swampy landscape, you cannot make confident assumptions about layout or detail. But honestly, they did a solid job piecing it together. They are clearly way better at reading these maps than I am, so who am I to argue? As you can see, the shot from trailer 1 lands right here, and there is actually another one I skipped over in the trailer breakdown earlier. They placed that moment from trailer 2 in this same area. I left it out back then because I was not fully convinced it was actually set here. But the mapping community knows this stuff better than I do, and I think they are probably right on this one. It is very plausible that the scene plays out somewhere in this stretch. What the map does make clear is that this region sits close to the Leonida Keys, right next to the prison where we first meet Lucia, and near Hamlet as well. But roughly speaking, the layout looks something like this. Keep Leonida sweet, that tagline is doing a lot of work. This is where the battle for Leonida's soul actually starts. Deep in Leonida, American industry and old-school values still run the show, whatever the price tag on that turns out to be. The Allied Crystal Sugar Refinery keeps the lights on and the paychecks coming, while the local biker gang quietly handles everything else. And as that description makes pretty clear, bikers own this corner of the map. We can see it in the screenshots too. There is a massive factory complex called the Allied Crystal Sugar Refinery sitting right at the center of local employment. So the whole area skews heavily industrial. Think factories, hangars, refineries, and working-class neighborhoods where old-school values are not just respected, they are enforced. That tagline on the site, "Keep Leonida Sweet," is interesting to me because I think there is a lot more going on here than just sugar production. Let's start with the postcard from the official GTA 6 website. It actually gives away quite a bit. The postcard shows the Allied Crystal Sugar Refinery logo, a packed parking lot, trucks rolling out of the plant, and workers scattered across the site. The factory looks absolutely massive, and I am convinced most of these buildings will be enterable and packed with actual content. The factory's location lines up closely with where Ambrosia sits on the Leonida map. You've got a sunset, trees, and vegetation in the background, a water tower off to the side, and none of that screams pure sugar operation to me. My read is that something else is being cooked up here, other substances getting manufactured on-site and then pushed out through biker gang distribution networks. Florida is notorious for drug activity, so Leonida fitting that mold makes total sense. Expect missions and run-ins with exactly those kinds of people. The postcard mostly just shows how massive this area is, and honestly, I cannot wait to go lose myself in it when the game drops. Moving on to Trailer 1 now. Ambrosia itself never appears on screen, but two locations sitting right next to it do. Both look like they sit along the main road out of Ambrosia, so for this breakdown I am grouping them in with the Ambrosia area. First up, we get a shot of Jason and Lucia in the car with the money police vehicles rolling right past them. Behind those cop cars, you can spot buildings and active construction in the background. Ambrosia is actually behind the direction they are heading, so this shot flips the view and gives us a look at the opposite side of the map. There is a satirical billboard advertising Angstapan, a fake drug that numbs your emotions. Classic Rockstar. And to the right, there's a billboard that seems to hint at a mall somewhere nearby, which is a cool little detail to spot. On the left, you've got residential houses and some forested areas bleeding in around them. The other clip from Trailer 1 shows a guy standing in front of a gas station. It's framed as a social media post by Planet Leonider Man, and the caption is genuinely pretty funny. The reason I'm dropping this here is that the community map, assembled from leaks, trailers, and triangulation, places this moment right in the Ambrosia area. The map marks the exact spot in red because placement isn't confirmed, but it sits between Ambrosia and Vice City, so it could easily fall under the Ambrosia region. The scene itself is packed with vegetation, cars, and in the distance you can see high-rise buildings pushing through the fog, which tells you Vice City isn't far. Overall, this shot looks great. Wet ground, rainy weather, the whole atmosphere fits the area perfectly. Trailer 2 gives us almost nothing specifically labeled as Ambrosia. Most of what we saw was Port Gellhorn, Leonida Keys, and Vice City, so Ambrosia barely got any direct screen time. Luckily, we do have 5 screenshots to dig into. The first one shows a biker gang called Final Chapter, and you can actually read Ambrosia right on their jackets. Look at that, the jackets say 1982 MC, Final Chapter, and almost every single one is different. In the background, there is a gas station, an ad for used cars, typical Rockstar billboard filler, and some political trolling in the form of a poster that reads Walt Aaron Henshaw. There is also a sign for the Ambrosia County Sheriff's Office and American flags everywhere you look. And if I'm reading this right, that is not just a hill behind everything. That is a large tree-covered mountain sitting in the fog. That mountain in the back is almost certainly Mount Calgar, which I'll be covering in the next video. The next screenshot takes us back to the light crystal refinery. You can spot the same buildings from the postcard, but now there are more factories and structures filling out the background. This industrial area is seriously massive. There's also what looks like a raceway or motorsports park nearby, and a bridge absolutely packed with cars. We can see two airboats cutting across what is actually Lake Leonida. Taken together, this shot makes it clear that Ambrosia is way bigger than it first looks. Honestly, my read is that it is larger than Sandy Shores or Paleto Bay from what we can see here. Another screenshot, more bikers. The guy up front has a long beard and a cap that literally reads Liberty City Cycles. And this is not the first Liberty City nod in the trailers either. We already know Lucia has ties to Liberty City, so the cap could just be a clothing brand, or it could be hinting at something bigger connecting the two maps. A woman in the shot is holding a revolver, and the character detail here is just ridiculous in the best way. Hard to pin down exactly where this one is set, but there is a clean bike in the background and the whole area reads industrial. This cinematic screenshot shows a field completely on fire, a truck parked nearby, and a figure crouching in the brush. That setup has mission or random event written all over it. In the distance, a factory pumps out smoke against a sunset sky, giving the whole area a real industrial edge. It reads like a mission or a side quest we'll stumble into at some point out in the open world. The final screenshot is something else entirely, and honestly it might be the thing that makes Ambrosia a fan favorite. It looks like a car wash where some very attractive women are cleaning a guy's windshield in a, let's say, unique way. The guy getting his car cleaned looks a lot like Wyman from GTA 6 Leaks. If you follow that account, you'll recognize him immediately. In the background, you can just make out some signage, but what really catches your eye is the interior of that car. The dash has physical buttons, indicators, and a full touchscreen showing navigation, audio, and climate controls. Whether any of that will actually be interactive is still up in the air, but the level of detail Rockstar has put into these interiors is seriously impressive. Now let's shift over to the community-made map. The State of Leonida map was put together by Yannis and a bunch of dedicated contributors over on Discord. Huge credit to them for the work they put into this. On that map, Ambrosia sits right here, bordering a large lake called Lake Leonida, based on the real-life Lake Okeechobee. The area is nowhere near as thoroughly mapped as Port Gellhorn or the Leonida Keys. Ambrosia and Mount Calgar are genuinely the least revealed locations we have right now. You can still spot the raceway I mentioned earlier on the map, and it lines up perfectly with the screenshot perspective. One screenshot with a group of bikers appears to be facing Mount Calgar, which explains that massive mountain looming in the background. The postcard viewpoint sits right here, looking straight out over the refinery complex. And that burning field screenshot lines up at this other spot, with the factory sitting in the background again. The two moments from trailer 1 we talked about are placed on the outskirts, not inside Ambrosia proper, but they're close enough to fold into the broader Ambrosia area for now. One of those clips is Jason and Lucia driving through what looks like residential neighborhoods, with a shopping center visible to the right. And the other is the Running Man clip, placed somewhere near Vice City. They've marked it in red because the exact location is still up in the air. Wild, wild country. Wide open space up on the state's northern edge. A national landmark pressed right up against Leonida's northern border, Mount Calgar brings prime hunting, fishing, and off-road trails to the table. Out in the lush backwoods surrounding it, hillbilly mystics and paranoid radicals hide away from any government eyes that might come looking. And as that description already tells you, this place sits firmly on the state's northern fringes. So Mount Calgar has the hunting, the fishing, the off-road trails, and all that backwoods chaos baked in. That's interesting on its own, but it actually matters a lot for a bigger debate, because plenty of people are convinced Gariana is going to be a playable area on the map. Gariana is based on Georgia, the real state sitting right next to Florida, which makes sense because Florida itself is basically pancake flat with 0 mountains. That geographic gap is exactly why so many people assumed Georgia would get pulled into GTA 6's version of the region. We even spotted Gariana state license plates in the material Rockstar put out. But Mount Calgar being described as the northern fringe of Leonida throws cold water on that theory. If the mountains are already in Leonida, Gariana might not need to exist as a separate playable area at all. And that tracks because Rockstar never does one-to-one recreations of real places. They always compress and remix. They pull the most interesting parts from multiple locations, shrink them down, and blend them into something that works as a game world. That's probably exactly what they did with Mount Calgar. Florida is basically flat, dead flat. Stick a mountain on the map and suddenly you've got something worth exploring. Mountains change everything. Elevation, weather, terrain, variety, the whole vibe shifts. And with that comes fishing, hunting, and off-road trails you actually want to drive. Mount Calgar sounds like the kind of place packed with weird stuff to find and weird people to find it with. Think hillbilly mystics, paranoid radicals, people who genuinely do not want the government knowing they exist. Forest hermits, outcasts, the full off-grid crowd, people who chose to disappear out there. That Red Dead Redemption 2 energy where you'd stumble across some unhinged stranger in the woods and leave the encounter genuinely unsettled. That's what this could be. That kind of thing will absolutely make a comeback in GTA 6. So let's dig into the official GTA 6 website postcard for this area. It gives away quite a bit if you know where to look. First off, the visuals alone are worth stopping on. You've got tourists in the background glued to their phones, rocking life vests next to kayaks. People picking their way across rocks, a plane cutting through the sky, and a seriously big mountain sitting in the distance. There's a river running through it all, and the water rendering looks genuinely impressive. And yes, there are deer in the shot too. Honestly, this shot is gorgeous, and it really sells just how much variety Mount Calgar is going to offer. Kayaking is confirmed for the area, which is a nice touch. Now, as far as trailers go, Mount Calgar is basically a ghost. It has almost never shown up, and there are very few shots we can confidently pin to this region. The one exception I keep coming back to is the Thrillbilly Mud Club from the first trailer. We do not know exactly where it is set, but the description about hillbilly mystics plus the dirt biking screenshot, plus another shot where characters are clearly out in the dirt, all point toward Mount Calgar as the most likely location. The shot where a guy is jumping on a table is probably up there too, because you can literally see a pretty tall mountain sitting in the background. So those are the only 2 clips we can sort of confidently place in Mount Calgar. Everything else is just too ambiguous to call. Now we move into screenshots, and we actually have 6 of them to go through. Let's kick things off with that dirt biker screenshot. And there's actually a solid variety of dirt bikes on display here. There's a raccoon on the left, creeping right up close to all that action, and it looks genuinely realistic. Just look at the dirt, it gets caked onto the vehicles and even on the riders themselves. It looks real, like actually real. Pull back a bit and you can spot a barbecue area, ketchup sitting on the table, people just hanging out and eating. But what really catches my eye is the background, abandoned industrial buildings and these massive storage tanks looming behind everything. And you can clearly see some kind of bridge or walkway leading up to them, so yeah, we're definitely getting up there. It's beat up and falling apart, so you're probably looking at some light parkour just to get up there. But once you do, I'd bet there's something worth finding, whether that's collectibles tucked inside or stashed on top. There's graffiti on the tanks too, and honestly it looks pretty solid. You've got flags and eagle painted on the side, and the whole area just screams go explore this, because something is definitely hiding in there. Could be a mystery, could be collectibles. Either way, it's the kind of spot you don't just walk past. This next screenshot is a good one, mostly because it hammers home just how massive this map actually is. You can't make out a ton of detail, but what it does show is how sprawling the rural stretches really are. And in the background, the mountain is sitting there, looming over all of it. It is pretty massive. We even get a helicopter shot with what looks like a camera guy smiling in the background. There is a highway cutting through it all, looks great and genuinely packed with traffic. What also stands out is that there is no ambrosia or port gellhorn visible anywhere in the background, which makes me wonder exactly which direction this shot is facing. Then this next one is clearly giving us our first look at the hillbilly mystics or paranoid radicals that were actually mentioned on the official website. Two hunters both carrying carbines. They look exactly like the kind of people you would expect to find out in that area, and I mean that in the best possible way. Looks like they just took down a deer and are heading off to skin it. And up in the tree above them, a squirrel is hauling itself upward, clearly wanting nothing to do with these two. Background is basically just wall-to-wall vegetation. Grass, trees, nothing but wilderness as far as you can see. Hunting is clearly in the game. Squirrels, deer, pretty much anything that moves and breathes is fair game. This next one though, this one hits different. Genuinely my favorite Mount Calgar screenshot we have so far. There's a puma on the right side of the frame. There's also what looks like a mountain ridge pushing in from the right, and it looks seriously tall. Then you've got bikers, could be a full biker gang rolling through. They're mostly riding through Ambrosia, which sits right next to Mount Calgar. The two areas are practically on top of each other, and yeah, those bikers have zero interest in traffic laws. They're just tearing through, doing biker things. Then we get trucks, a smaller river cutting through the frame, and more wildlife dotting the background. There are train tracks running across the bridge, and you can clearly make out a tunnel entrance ahead. You can literally see the mouth of that tunnel plus power lines stretching overhead. And off to the side, there's this rock formation that looks almost exactly like a massive bear. Like genuinely might be a bear. Probably just a rock, honestly, but it looks cool regardless. And there are deer on the bridge too. That whole left side looks like prime territory for hunting, or honestly the kind of spot Rockstar would drop a murder mystery, a body in the woods, something under the bridge. Then right here you can see a puma actively stalking a group of deer drinking from a small pool in the forest. Not a ton else going on in this area, but that one clip says a lot about how wildlife is going to behave. Animals hunting each other, predator and prey playing out in real time, that is something we have not really seen done properly in this series before. Red Dead Redemption 2 did not have a mechanic like this, at least not that I can remember. So if this is not just a scripted one-off and it actually happens out in the world dynamically, that is genuinely exciting, because that is just how nature works. Last screenshot we're looking at is the kayaking one. You can spot a bridge in the background with a train running across it. Makes me wonder if we'll actually be able to stop it in GTA 6, because in GTA 5 that thing was completely untouchable. You can see water droplets spraying off the NPC as his paddle slaps the surface, and it genuinely looks great. Curious how that's going to read in real motion once we're actually playing. There's also a flood gauge visible here, and I actually called this out when I first broke down the screenshots after trailer 2 dropped, so about a year ago now. Look closely and you'll notice the gauge is rusted and worn at the bottom, but cleaner toward the top, which strongly suggests the water level actually shifts, probably tied to some in-game event, because the markings go up to at least 2, 3, even 4 feet. So the water rises and falls, just not all the way up to 5 or 6 feet, at least not from what we can see here. That flood gauge detail is genuinely interesting, and I really hope the water level does change dynamically. That would be a serious mechanic. Floods, hurricanes, the whole deal. It's Florida, what did you expect? On the left side there's actually a fox, which I completely missed until now. First time catching that one. And there's a cabin in the background too, small house, stairs, a balcony, satellite dishes on the roof. Easy to overlook, but it's packed with detail. I genuinely want to go inside that place when GTA 6 drops, which at this point is not far off. Alright, that wraps up the screenshots. Next, we're moving into what we actually know about the map and how it all lines up on the Leonida fan map. The Leonida state map was put together by Yannis and a crew of people on Discord, and honestly they deserve serious credit for how detailed and thorough that work is. This is roughly where Mount Calgar sits on the map and what its shape looks like from a broad view. It gets that spotlight because out of every area we have covered, this is the one we know almost nothing about. It is mostly countryside and mountains with no real structures to anchor it, so you can only map it out so far before you are just guessing. But from what we can tell, this area sits somewhere between these two reference points on the map. At the top you will notice it says Gloriana because we still have no confirmation on whether there is another state in the game beyond Leonida, so take that label with a grain of salt. What the map does do well is slot this particular screenshot into exactly the right position. And you can see it lines up cleanly, the viewpoint faces that direction almost perfectly. Another screenshot they dropped is the helicopter one because it looks out over the highway, which lines up right about here on the map. We're actually going to have more than one mountain, not just a single peak, more like a whole cluster of high mountains or at least some serious hills. Back when I was breaking down Ambrosia, I also brought up Mount Calgar. That foggy mountain shot you can see over here, that hazy peak sitting in the mist, that's it. That's Mount Calgar. And that postcard I mentioned earlier, the one with a mountain visible in the background, this is almost certainly the same one. This is the mountain from that postcard shot, confirmed. And it's probably sitting right about here on the map. If you made it this far, you're a real one. You just watched the full breakdown of every single location in GTA 6. I really hope you picked up something new about GTA 6 from all of this. By the way, GTA 6 Trailer 3 is expected to drop in the next few weeks, right before the earnings call. More info is coming soon, so subscribe and hit the bell because I will be doing deep dives into Trailer 3, breaking down everything we see frame by frame. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.